Hello, I would like to share a story with you guys. About 5 years ago, I had this one friend, a girlfriend of mine, not just a friend, that were friends, let's say, for over 20 years. Um, we lived together with another friend. We lived together, just the two of us, and my child as roommates. So, so we've been interwoven in each other's lives for about 20 years. About 5 years ago, now in the summer, I would go and work on a resort island, and sometimes I would stay year round. And then the cancer came, so I was moving back and forth because it was easier to be on the mainland with doctors dealing with these things. And I didn't want to take the ferry back and forth because of the germs and the weather. So I moved home back with my friend. Um, Now, my friend is a lesbian. I am not, but I bring that up because I've watched her date women, numerous women, not numerous, but a couple. um, so I've seen her with different women, let's put it that way. So the last one that she's with, I wasn't around so much because I was living full time on the island. Okay. So I come home, I would call her, I'd tell her I'm moving home to deal with this stuff. Does she have room? Because she's now living with one of these women. Can she get the woman? And I also know she's at the end of this relationship. But instead of actually, I know the relationship was over. The woman was just living at the house. Um, but instead of cutting ties and breaking the thing off, she allowed this person to live in the house whilst, or because she wanted the safety and security of having someone in her house, because she wasn't home a lot, because she had already moved on to another relationship unbeknownst to this woman, or maybe the woman did know. um so she had moved on to another relationship and was always at the other person's house. So again, I'm calling because I want to come back, live in the city, do my medical thing, and I need space and somewhere to live. And she has a 3-bedroom home, and I know she's never home, but this ex is now there. So they broke up. The ex is there. She's taking care of the house and taking care of the dog, which is my friend's dog. Her dog before, her dog um, just her dog before the relationship even began with her dog with somebody else. So, blah, blah, blah. I'm coming home. I come home and I lived on the first floor. It was a 2-floor house with a loft upstairs, which was my friend's bedroom. Actually, no. When I first got there, actually, yes. I went into the guest bedroom. The friend. Oh, I have to remember this. I think the friend was upstairs in her. No, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so my friend was never there, so I was upstairs in her room. The ex-girlfriend was in the guest bedroom, and my friend was never home, so it didn't matter. Um, let's say this lasted about 6, 7, 8 months. I can't recall the time frame. Sorry, guys. I'm just gonna try to get to the point. Okay, so I'm going through. I'm sleeping about 20 hours a day because of the cancer. I had 2 cancers, breast and lung. So I'm sleeping most of the time. So I'm not really paying attention to this woman or anything. There were a couple of times I was up and noticing things. One was this one. Uh, okay, so I'm watching this lady go on the decline because she's realizing that, yes, I'm in this lady's house and I think I'm in love with her and I'm taking care of her dog and the house, but she's never coming home, so I don't think we're getting back together. And I'm watching this lady go reach the depths of the bottom. She laid on the couch for about 10 hours a day watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians and a lot of crime shows. Um, Again, most of the time I was sleeping. And then there was this one day that I was up, so I was like, I want to watch TV, and I was watching TV, and she was in the kitchen, and we had a rather large island, and I proceeded to watch this lady walk around this island at least 200 to 300 times. And I think she drove me nuts by watching her. Um, Another time she I think I came out of the bathroom and she was walking towards the kitchen and we had a doggy gate and she was going into the kitchen and she just barreled through and like the gate was invisible and tumbled over the gate, flipped over, landed on her back. I watched this whole thing, astonished. And so I called my friend and I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but I am too sick to babysit this woman. You need to come home and um, get her out of here. Like, you're not together anymore. I'll do what I can as far as the dog, but I'm not making any promises, but she doesn't need to be here. Like, this is not fair to her, to me, to the dog, to you. It just wasn't kosher. And then I remember around Christmas time, a Christmas card came from her parents addressed to my friend. She happened to open it in front of me and they sent her a check. And I'm like, they give you a check? And she was like, yeah, they pay for, it's, they, I don't know how she said it, but I'm in my head, I'm like, they're paying for you to take care of their adult child. So, long story short, it got to the point where this lady had convinced herself, or not convinced herself, but was so out of it, or I don't know how to say this nicely, but she in her mind created situations and scenarios, I guess, but to the point where her hands had become uh, immobile, meaning she couldn't grip, she couldn't hold a can, she couldn't hold a glass bottle. Like she was bringing herself down by her thought process, by overthinking, by I'm not a doctor, so I don't know what was clinically going on. I just know what I was watching. Um, so my friend had finally asked her to leave, and she did. Okay, so let's get to this. So there, it's about summertime. Summer, was it summer? Fall. It was fall, and I had just gotten my lung taken out. One of my lungs, obviously. Um, but my whole left lung a month before was taken out because of the cancer. So I was home healing. On this one day, I remember I had to go to the doctors. I had already talked to my friend that week, asked her. Um, I mean, I was going to lots of doctor's appointments, but I would like to delve it out between people, friends and family and whatever at the time. So I asked her, would she be able to take me, let's say, can you take me to my oncologist on Wednesday? And she says yes. She's not always around, so I had already worked that out with her, so I was expecting her. Wednesday came, she wasn't there. Whatever. She wasn't there on time. Or let's say I had a 2 o'clock appointment. It was now 1 o'clock. She's just walking in the door, which I'm frazzled because I don't know how I'm getting there. But she had come, so I'm upset. But I'm going. We're going. She's taking me. Go to the doctors. Now, I got a couple of signs that day, so I didn't know what was happening. And let me say this. I kept pulling the Seven of Swords, the Seven of Swords. I would pull one tarot card a day. And for about 4 to 6 months, half of that time, the Seven of Swords kept coming out, and I wasn't understanding it. So, go to the doctors that day. I don't watch TV, but something caught my eye. We're in the waiting room. There's a TV on. I just so happened to watch a segment. It's something about Chris Hansen I think it was Chris Hansen, I believe, and about, they were filming what happens when what actually goes on when a robber robs your house. So her and I are watching it. Whatever, whatever. Go to my appointment. Go back home. In the midst, we're talking. And I was like, "Oh, have you talked to the ex?" And she's like, "Oh, yep, I talked to her. She's doing better. She went to physical therapy. She now has a little bit of grip motion. She can, because it got to the point so bad where the doctor ruled she couldn't drive a car. Um, so she was going to some kind of therapy for the hands. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad she's getting it together. So we go home. I remember we ordered food. I can't, Chinese food or something like that. Sushi. I don't know. We ordered something. And we were in the living room. We're eating. And I wanted to go to bed. And I went to bed. So I go in my room now. I'm in the old room where the ex was, and my friend can now go back in her room, but I think she fell asleep. She did fall asleep on the couch that night. So I'm in my room, and I remember this very vividly. I'm like, should I take a sleeping pill? And I was like, well, let me not. I had a pretty hectic day, so I will fall asleep easily. So went to bed. Went to sleep. At some point of the night, I heard something. I don't know what it was. It woke me up. In my head, I thought it was a scream. And I kind of knew it. Like, I heard a scream, so I kind of sat up. Now, mind you, I'm naked, and I hear something again. And I'm like, what the hell is that? So I come out, open my door, come out of my room. We had a sitting area. There was a piano there. I stopped there, and I don't hear anything. And I'm like, well, from what I just woke up to, for it to be this quiet, this is eerie. So I kind of turned the corner to go into the living room, and I could feel the energy, but I couldn't see anything because it was pitch dark out. It was black. But I could feel the energy. So I walked a little. I'm walking into the room, and again, it's dark, but I know the living room. Couch on my right, coffee table on my left, chair in front of me. And I kind of hear muffling moving. So I extended my arm out and I just kind of waved it down. I don't know what I was going to feel for, but it landed. And it landed between two people with my hand on something, their two hands and them two in the midst of tussling over something. So it's still dark. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what I woke up to, but I knew to wake up. So I go to turn on the light. And I go over, turn. No, that's not what happened. Yes, I went to go turn on the. Did I turn? No, we didn't turn on the light. So I. That's what happened. My friend said something, so I knew where she was. I knew her position, so I know she's the person on the right. And in my head, I'm like, well, who the hell is this person on the left? I don't know, but I'm just gonna yoke them up. So I, naked and all, put that person in a bear hold. At this time, they broke apart. My friend went over to turn on the light, turns on the light, and all I see is Carrie from that horror movie. She just had the prom movie where the blood was dripping down her face. And my friend has very long hair, but there was just blood. Her whole face was covered in blood. And I'm like, what the F? So if that's you, then who am I holding right now? Well, it turns out to be the ex roommate. The lady who slept on the couch or laid on the couch for 12-hour days. The lady that had brought herself to the point where she couldn't grip anything or drive anything or work or do anything. So I'm like, okay, how? So I'm still holding her. I'm still naked, and I'm like, okay, I want to like go put some clothes on. I want to. So my, I look, and my friend has a hammer in her hand, and she's like, get her. She's like, she hit me, and I'm like, oh my god. So I was like, okay, call the cops. So my friend like picks the like has the hammer in her hand. She's like goes to like act like she was gonna hit her. I knew she wasn't. I didn't think she was gonna hit her, but she didn't hit her. I'm like, don't hit her. So she's like, I should hit you, and she's like, what the f is wrong with you? And the girl's like, if I can't have you, no one can. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, call the cops. So my friend calls the cops, and she's yelling at her, and she's like, you freaking crazy! What the hell's wrong with you? Why would you do this? Um, I take the phone because they're like arguing back and forth, and I'm like trying to separate the two and talk to the cops. So that I'm talking to the cops, I go into my room to put some clothes on because I know they're gonna be here soon, and I hear yelling again. My friend's like, calling my name, calling my name. She's like, get her, she's going in the kitchen, and I'm like, good, maybe she'll run out the door. Leave her alone. And she's like, no, she's gonna get a knife. So I'm like, what the F? So I, like, at this point, I'm now at the kitchen, grab her, throw her onto the couch, and I'm like, sit your ass down. Like, the cop said, don't move. And, so, whatever. Okay, so that happens. Cops come, arrest her. So I'm in my head, I'm like, okay, I need you to tell me what happened because I only know what I woke up to and walked into. I don't know what happened in the beginning. So my friend said she's sleeping on the couch. She's like turned into the couch, and she's like, I felt like somebody was watching me. Like I woke up and I kind of felt like somebody was watching me. And she's like, I called your name, and I'm like, well, what the hell would I be watching you sleep for? And she's like, I don't know. I just knew you were the last one that was in the room. And she's like, but no, nothing happened. Nobody said anything. So I kind of turned back around to go sleep again. She's like, but I knew I felt something. So she said she sat up, stood up, and at the same time, she could feel that person stand up. And she reached out her hand. The person didn't say anything. She reached out her hand towards the shadowy figure that she didn't know if it was there and could not see. And it came and just swung the hammer into the front of her head. She said she turned around to go turn on the light, and it swung the hammer to the back of her head. So I think this was at the point she screamed and I woke up. She said instead of going to reach for the light again, she figured just go for the hammer so it could stop hitting her. And then they were in a tug of war for the hammer. So that this is the point that I come in and I turn on the light, um, and that's how that happened. So we had a sliding glass door. We did not lock our door, and even if we did lock our door, we knew how we could get in through a window next to the door. Um, so, oh, also, my son lived downstairs on the first floor in his own apartment, and he had just moved in, I want to say, a month or two before that. So I'm asking my friend, well, how did this begin? And she's, oh, no, no. So the ex, now we've all been there where you're watching TV and it says, are you still watching TV? If not, we're going to shut it off in 30 seconds. She was outside, parked in the driveway, waited for the TV to shut itself off, waited to see that, walked up the driveway, around my son's apartment, came up our back stairs onto the deck, through the sliding glass door, but left outside on the deck sneakers, a change of clothes, a bag, a kill kit with. No, she brought that in. She brought the kill kit in. It was a bag with masking tape, the hammer, and another bag in there. What she was planning on doing is this is what she told the detectives was she didn't want to kill my friend, she just wanted to hurt her so my friend would take her back and like would need someone to take care of her, and she would call this lady who laid on the couch for 12 hours a day to come take care of her. So but she was going to put the bag over her head, duct tape her neck, duct tape the bag around her neck, and smash her in the head with the hammer. That was her plan. Um, so she comes up the back stairs, comes to the sliding glass door. Again, we had there's a dog in this house. The dog did not make any noise during this whole interaction until after the whole thing. And it's one of those yep dogs, Jaja, like a Jack Russell or something like that. So I don't know if she gave the dog a treat, but the dog did not react. When she opened the door, she put her glasses on the island, took her sneakers off, walked into the living room, sat on the couch for an hour and a half to 2 hours watching my friend sleep, and then proceeded to do that. So I just wanted to share that story to say for someone to come into your house to hit you with an object or stick an object into you, that is a personal thing. It is this is not a stalker. It's not a random Peeping Tom, it was personal, and I hope it, as much as that story sucked, I hope it brings some knowledge or wisdom to somebody when things are supposed to end them correctly. My friend was not, she did not deserve what happened to her. And I do want to say the ex brought in a hammer, not a regular hammer, but a ball head hammer. And my friend was hit on the top of the head and in the back of the head and had to get stitches. But had she ended this correctly, responsibly, and not chosen this girl to be a babysitter to her house and dog, this might have been avoided, I think. So, thank you. Thank you for listening. And I do feel soon someone is going to be arrested for this horrendous act that was performed against these 4 children. Thanks.